Committee meeting to order. Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Ron Kinsley,
Here.
Mark Howard.
Yep.
Ed Peters.
Yep.
Dale Olson.
Yep.
Brian Bissonnette.
Yep. That means he's here.
He's here.
Okay. And Chairman of the Board, Tweed Schultz here also.
Yes.
Certification from compliance with the open meeting laws, please.
The meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by section 19.84 of Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. Someone asked me before, we should let the public know that Brian Bissonnette is virtual. The rest of the committee is here. Meeting agenda is in front of us. It is what it is. Public comment. Anybody out there for public comment? Two girls, anything?
We're just observing.
Girls, I like that. I like that, Chairman.
Number 6, consider approval of the minutes of the December 8th meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Helwig, second by Mr. Peters to approve.
There's one thing that should be corrected in there. They got me coming back to work December 7th. My surgery was,
Oh,
it's a little tight.
That's
It's December 27th.
it's at 27.
We were trying to get that bonus for you.
Yeah.
That'll iron more.
There's a motion by Mr. Helwig, second by Mr. Peters to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 7, airport, Sawyer County Airport report. Derek?
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Huh?
Excellent. First of all, any questions on my report or any other things that need to be discussed?
What stands out in your report that we need to know, my friend?
Well, I haven't got a chance to get together with Tom Hoff yet, but I got a bunch of numbers in front of me and I can tell and report to the board that we had a pretty good year at the airport. I think the last county board meeting, I told everybody that our revenues were up and our expenses were down. So the numbers are looking pretty good with that stuff. All the hard work that the committee's done in recent years is paying off. And so that's a good thing, I think.
Yes.
I've been working with, I've also been working with Mike Keith. I talked to him today and a little conversation with Tom Hoff too. Not exactly sure how it happened, but we have a bunch of money left over from previous projects dating back all the way to 2014 with the state of Wisconsin. So that's actually going to eat up about 2/3 of what our spring project this year was going to cost the county. So the nice thing is when it comes to however Mike and Tom figure out our capital, that we're not going to have to expense as much for the airport improvement projects as we had anticipated.
That's a positive.
So I'm full of good news.
Yes.
We had a great meeting down there in the same room you guys are in now. We had some stakeholders from the airport out, and we had some good dialogue about what our upcoming runway project is going to basically entail in 3.5 years or 2.5 years. So we're trying to do our best and our due diligence to make sure we're involving the folks out at the airport in our decisions and how we're arriving at those.
Okay. How are the gates working in the cold weather?
All 4 of the gates have actually surprisingly been pretty good. We had, having our LTE out there, John, Tim's guy, John, does a really good job, and not sure if doesn't sound like we're going to be able to keep him. He's already retired, I think, twice. But just being able to control the windrows around the gates and making sure they don't get buried, it really does help. So everything's working good on the gates, and we got some runway lights to fix, but that happens every year.
Any questions? Yes, Mr. Schumer.
Chairman, does he want to comment on that land or property that was kind of offered to us? Or
That's the next thing on the agenda.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Any other questions regarding his report? Hearing none, let's go to number 8, 40-acre parcel adjacent to the airport. Mr. Hoff, maybe?
Yeah, I can introduce the topic. There was a landowner who owns a parcel, a 40-acre parcel that's adjacent to the airport. I think it also abuts hatchery. Was wondering if the county was interested in trading this for this 40 acres with something else the county may own, specifically in the Nelson Lake area, Telgeter Road area, or somewhere in that area. So that came on this agenda just to entertain this committee's thoughts on if they're interested in acquiring that parcel. Did talk to the airport manager, Derek Leslie, and Derek, if you have comments on whether that does you any good or not, that parcel, please go ahead.
I appreciate that, Tom. I guess I didn't email in. I didn't want to chime in too much because I was hoping other people would say it, but I'll go on record saying it. Most of the land is swampland that the individual has proposed. I think it's old man Billy Bayo's property that this Mr. Gold purchased. While it does abut the airport property, there's the biggest problem is that Hatchery Creek basically runs between the airport and his property. I mean, I've been back in there before. I mean, I've been at the airport most of my life, and even I've only ever been back in that area a couple times. It's pretty inaccessible, and I don't think it would ever be developable, even with a monumental effort. There's only so much you can do out there, and we already have wetland issues the way it is. So that's what I kind of told Tom Hoff, and if the county wants to give out some land by Nelson Lake, I'd be kind of interested too. No, so that's my 2 cents.
I did speak with County Forester Greg Peterson, and he looked at it as well and didn't think that would suit his purpose for hatchery either.
Okay. Comments from the committee?
No sense in going after it.
That doesn't make much sense to me. It's all wetland. It's a problem.
I'm sure Derek played in that stuff when he was a boy.
All right, very good. There's our discussion, and that's the way it'll be. Till something else changes, but that's presently what it is. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Number 9, Ms. McCold, classification update.
Yeah, this agenda item is on every committee, and we've talked about it in several county board meetings. Our county ordinances are being organized and put into a code of ordinances. The draft is under that link, so I've asked you as board members and department directors to review those ordinances, this draft of the ordinances, to make sure that all of those are the most current ones that you're aware of, and everything is in there. It was quite a lot of work compiling all of those from the ancient records and put them into an organized fashion. So if you've got any questions or comments, please get them to me or County Clerk Lynn Fitch, and we can address those. But the plan is to get those to county board as soon as we can, hopefully in January here.
My only comment is you've done a fine job, or whoever all worked on it.
It'll be very nice to get that up and running. It'll be searchable on our website. It'll make all of the ordinances in one spot so the public can find them easier. It'll be a really good deal.
Yes.
Tom, I was pretty impressed with what Julia found when she reviewed this. You know, she had some changes in there.
Yes.
Have you reviewed this and like maybe our legal counsel?
Oh, yeah. The legal counsel was instrumental in getting things put together. Went through the statutory references. You know, a lot of those ordinances that were adopted way back when had statutes that have changed in the meantime. So everything's been gone through, you know, with a fine tooth comb to update those references. You know, so we think we're pretty good, but that's why I want, you know, other sets of eyes on it. We've looked at it, and sometimes you don't see things when you've stared at things for months and months and months.
Yeah, new set of eyes.
Right. And so, you know, when the county board adopts this becomes our ordinances. So it is important that there are not mistakes or omissions or whatever in there. Not to say that the next month we would correct it if there's anything found, but hopefully it'll be as clean as we can get it.
Do we know if Ms. Zillmer's checked it out?
I don't. Okay. Very good. We'll move forward. Number 10, Highway Commissioners report.
Okay, anyone have any questions on the report? Just a couple updates on it. We had that approval last month for the Snowmobile Trail coming up on County Road M. You guys approved that reroute. And I had some discussions with one of the individuals that was present at the meeting who was so you guys are still a little bit of don't talk about it, but I think everything's going forward. It's gonna be what, a couple more months, and then hopefully it'll be over with that. And they're saying the bridge is on schedule to be replaced this summer, so.
Yeah, that reroute is only for this year, right?
Yeah, and it really did make more sense. And then the other one big thing we have here is our office manager, Gene Abrick, our previous office manager, I should say, has now been appointed Sawyer County Treasurer. So what we're doing is working with HR. Our current account clerk is gonna kind of move into a more position where some of that job and some of her job and some of the higher end accounting, I believe, we haven't worked out the details yet, will be taken up to the courthouse. And so it's been quite a tricky transition period because we really there was no training or anything involved. Unfortunately, Janine was out with vacation and then that turned into COVID, and then January 3rd, she was up here. So we basically had nothing. So she does have a lot of detailed notes and things to go on. She did a very good job on that. So she's got all kinds of little books like in front of Ed there with all kinds of stuff on every subject matter. So just hoping things work out. It's going to be a little different this year. I mean, we've got a closing and I'm hoping that Mike Keefe possibly could help out. It's a lot for to handle right now for that individual, but she's going to try her hardest. I'm confident she's a pretty smart individual.
So that employee getting those bonuses to come back?
What's that?
An employee that came back and decided not to.
Oh yeah, he heard we were giving the bonus out. It's the only reason why he came back. Oh, he left for another job and he worked a week and a half and realized the grass was greener, and he called me up. I called Rose up. We had it on the website, but we hadn't done any other recruitment. So I mean, he was a very good employee when he left. Welcome him back with open arms. So says he'll never leave again. Famous last words.
Yes.
Just a couple comments. Just realize we are, recording these and they go out, and so people may take you literally when you make comments like that. So just be careful.
Of the premium pay?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And then also you mentioned, trails, and normally we see Don Morochek handle some
Yeah.
trails stuff. The young ladies in the back, if you want to introduce yourselves to this committee, I think you've met a few of the committees.
I'm Kathy LaRue, and representing the Alliance, of course. We formed a committee due to Don's retirement. We're not sure where that's going to go or who's going to actually take over the trail coordinator position, but we're here. So
Good.
I'm Mary Metcalf and Jane Schrader.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Next month, renewals come up in the month of February for all the trails. So we're gonna have to figure out who the signer is gonna be on those agreements.
Sure.
You have that all your note before you come.
They're gonna have to let me know. Maybe Don will sign one more time. I don't know. kind of indicated he might.
We are discussing that as we speak.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Schuman?
Tom, would Janine be available if they were to run into a real bottleneck over there at Highway?
Yeah, I mean, we got
I
a
would
lot of
hope.
bottlenecks, because,
I know, but I'm thinking
With-
she would know.
yeah, I mean, we've had a couple retirements in the treasurer's office, Sandy's, Heavy's retirement. Janine coming over, trying to learn those positions. So yeah, we've had communication, with Gary.
She's
and his
already helped
staff.
us out a couple of times.
Good.
Yeah.
Teresa's called.
I knew that
she's
she
helped us
would.
out, Yeah.
Yeah, and then, Mike's aware of, the year-end activities and if you need help.
It's just a matter of, she's up to her,
Right.
but alligators, she's got all this stuff to try and learn there. And it's hard for her to even she gave us quite a bit of time today, probably, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, which is a lot, because there's a lot going on down at that office right
Good.
now.
Well, I hope we
know
work
that.
together, Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's doing as much as she can, and then I respect it. We try not to bother her. We kind of try and accumulate our questions, and so she's under no obligation, but I think she's just the way she left her departure. We left it. Everything was done on a good note as far as highway is concerned. I congratulate her, and I'm not going to hold anyone back from advancement, and I'm happy for her. So,
Mr. Peters?
I just wanted to make a comment on the trail down by Connors Lake. At the end of the public safety meeting, the sheriff did talk to me about an unfortunate incident down there that was initiated apparently by a landowner. So
Is it public record?
I understand that there are being charges.
So what happened?
Uh,
I didn't hear.
some logs appeared in the right of way
Oh,
okay, I hadn't heard that.
and the groomer hit it.
You girls know about that?
yes.
Good enough. Thank you.
thanks.
Anything else for Gary? Thank you, Gary. Move on to number 11, maintenance department report. Mr. Hagberg,
Yeah, any questions on my report at all?
tell us the highlights, please.
We're just kind of plugging along. I can tell you something I probably should have put on my my report for this month, but I usually go from the first of the month to the end, so it was still kind of in the works. We did have one of my full-time employees resign, took a job somewhere else, and so Rose and I have been working to fill that position. So far, going to probably try to set some interviews for next week. Looks like as of today, we have 7 applicants, and some of them look really good, really strong applicants. So, so I think by the time we get to the end of next week, hopefully we've have some direction on which way we're going to go there.
Okay. Mr. Olson,
Tim, I see you're putting the new generator out at Highway. That's great. I know Namakagon Transit just got a waste oil burner to supplement the heat out there. Is that something we should have at Highway?
I know there's it would depend on how much oil they generate, waste oil. I know they're, boy, Gary, you might know that more than I do. I don't know how many gallons
We get
you
it
go through, and
pick it up for free.
they're kind of an expensive system.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues with it too, with
Yeah.
like oil, and you're limited to a certain amount of BTUs, what you can put out. And it's put quite large, but it's 495,000 before you have to get into any licensing. But
I wonder if that's something we should look at down the road here, save ourselves some money and stay a little bit more self-sufficient.
You just said that the oil gets picked up for free.
mhm. But we could, you know, I would never want to become a receiving site for it.
No.
Because you never know what you're getting, you know, and that's what happens. You start taking from the public, dump in, and then that's what happens. It's things layer, then you get flashbacks from it. We had when I was with Burnett County Highway Department, so I'm pretty familiar with them, but it's a good idea. Actually, that grant that we got, that's actually through the Public Service Commission, and I'll be working, Tim kind of helped us out as far as showing us the right direction, but we've got the electrician that handles our electrical for us is going to be doing all the installation for us. Excellent. So it should be a pretty neat system. I don't have any experience with natural gas generators, but
Mr. Olson is correct. At transit, we're experiencing some savings, aren't we, with heating costs and burning that oil at transit. So we have a transit meeting tomorrow. We're gonna bring that up and maybe.
you guys are doing waste oil out there?
Yep,
Oh,
like Mr.
interesting.
Olson mentioned, yep, to heat the shop
And solar.
and solar.
And it's not about being green there. It's about being able to keep running when
Yeah,
everything goes to heck.
Mr. Hager, maybe you want to check into it a little bit when you get time, bring it back to the committee.
Yep, I will do that.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Hager? Hearing none, thank you. Number 12, courthouse remodel update. Yep. Did you have something else?
No,
Thank you. Courthouse remodel update. We have a meeting tomorrow afternoon. They're ready to send the bids out. And they'll be out for 4 weeks.
Yeah, tomorrow. They go out, they're due, I think about
March
early,
4th.
yeah. I don't have the date here.
That's the date that comes to mind. I don't have it in front of me, but so things are progressing along.
That's important.
Yes.
And thank you, Chairman. With Mr. Hoff's absence coming up, who are we gonna have? I mean, you're at these meetings, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're covered there.
I figured that the county board chair will fill in.
It's
Mr.
probably using a public works thing, but has your position gone
There's an ad hoc committee that established by the board. They met once, I think they're meeting again tomorrow to work through that process to hire the next administrator.
We'll give you an update at the full board meeting.
on? No, I'm shaking my head no, because he's not supposed to leave.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions regarding court room remodel? Next item, future agenda items.
But you
Oops, sorry.
got to do the certified survey map for California Avenue related to the courthouse remodeling. This is the certified survey map for the land formerly county land, which is now dedicated for the California Avenue. So this is the certified survey map that will be recorded for that transaction.
Anything we need to do as a public works?
Just approve and move it on to the board. Since it is a land transaction, the county board does need to approve. So this is something that we've talked about during the process of the courthouse renovation, but this is the technicality of the land transfer.
Make a motion to approve the California certified survey map.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Howing, second by Mr. Peters to approve the certification survey maps for California Avenue. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion carries, and that's to go to the full county board. Okay?
Yep.
Future agenda items. Is there any, when do the next hangar leases come due? I know you gave me a list, but I'm sorry, I just can't keep track of them.
I don't think we have any yet this year. We have, and those new ones have the annual rate change now. So I sent the formulas to Tom to review, see if I've calculated them correct.
Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Olson,
Mr. Chairman, I think it would be prudent to put the Oasis building status on the agenda.
okay,
I know it's being utilized by the health department now, which sounds like it's needed and is doing wonderful business, if you can call it that. And it will be, the other half of it will be rented for the remainder of this year. I just want to, I think we should bat it around a little bit and talk about what its potential is and, you know, what departments might be a good fit for their pending the Oasis not being in the other half.
we can do that. Yes,
We did talk about that a little bit, and since we're on courthouse remodeling, this is part of that and what we do with the different departments, including you know, some moving around of departments here due to the renovation that we're doing. But we did have some discussion at Health and Human Services about moving the ADRC staff down to Oasis. Mr. Olson made a suggestion of perhaps the Veterans Office could be accommodated down there as well, since it's the same type of services that are provided to public coming in, some meeting space, the benefits that they're receiving service-wise could be accommodated. I did talk to Gary, Veterans Officer, today. We did talk about that with Gary prior, but it was too much space just for veterans alone. But you know, now that ADRC could be moving into there, that's a good space for them and could be a good space for veterans too. So Paul Grahovic and Gary went down there today just to review the space. Tim is off this week, but we'll get with him next week. Just we'd have to do a little bit more remodeling, which is fine, but it could work very good for both of those purposes. The alternative, you know, was to have Gary move down into this wing, and we'd have to do some remodeling in this wing. And then talking with Gary, you know, he had some concerns about you know, the people that he has coming in and, you know, some of the noise and traffic and that sort of thing. So it's about a horse apiece, whether, you know, it's in this wing or down at the Oasis site. There's some pros and cons, but they're going to sift through what those are, and we'll keep working on these plans. They're kind of fluid right now, but we can put that on the agenda as we get more information moving forward. So appreciate the comments.
thank you, Mr. Olson. That's a good idea.
I agree.
Anybody else have anything?
Well, I was just gonna add what Mr. Olson and Tom discussed, you know, and maybe we should do a survey with the veteran service people. Where would they like to see the new office? You know, are we pretty well set now, Tom, on taking down this building
Yes.
over here? Okay. And there's been no plans in the new renovation to add veteran service?
Yeah, the veteran service would be either in this space remodeled or the child support, because we've got Justice Point, you know, the criminal justice activity between them and the veterans have to be accommodated here. So if we, so that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yes,
So what's planned for that space over there where that building is?
Nothing, right? I mean, it'd be either parking lot or impervious area.
So that building's in that better shape than needs to be taken down.
There was issues that we had addressed.
okay. Thank you, everybody. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, Mr. Bissonnette.